What's up, guys? My name is Con, and today we're back with more Brickadia, and you can tell by the title of this video I made a piston engine. We're gonna go through the steps I took to make a piston engine, and there's a few of them because there was a few things I had to make sure we could do in Brickadia, and of course we can do them all, and yeah, there's a piston engine over there that works. So anyway, great stuff. I like this game a lot. I really do like this game. I'm having a good time playing this game. I'm really enjoying all the different things we can do with this game, including making pistons and stuff like that. So anyway, this is the basic piston, right? We're using a motorized slider with a couple of bearings, right? The bearings all free float, and if we time this correctly, you know, we can do that. Now, the cool thing with this game, we can't measure bearing position. A few people were commenting, they're like, Con, you can measure some stuff off bearings, and I took a look, so you can. So if we take a bearing, for example, and we put that down there, we can paint it. There we go. Had it painted as the background color. Perfect. So if we put a bearing down there, we can actually take a look. There are some things, you know, you can limit angles on it. You can put damping built into it. So that's kind of cool. You can do stuff like that. And then if we take the connection tool and we try and connect off of it, see, there's like, we can, these are inputs, not outputs, right? Like this little dot here, I think means it's an input. Because if we look at something like this, the output right there, you see? So we can't read anything off the bearing, but we can read the current position of this. So all we need to do is make sure when we get to this position, we turn off the motor. When we get to this position, we turn on the motor, right? When you get to the end, turn it back on. When you get here, turn it off. So in order to do that, we need some logic, right? And the first thing we're gonna need is a memory bit, because we need to make an SR latch so that we can actually like latch the memory, right? This is like in Scrap Mechanic, we did it one of two ways. One is with NOR memory, NOR, which is essentially an SR latch. And then the other way we did it was with triple XOR memory, where we infinite looped it into itself. And that was just some weird game mechanic that the game allowed. But in Brickadia, we can do some crazy stuff. So we're allowed to make SR latches using NOR gates. So these are two NOR gates. This is what makes the latch. You can see this output is lit up right now, going to that OR gate, just as an example. If we press this, if we press this button, it'll flip, right? So now that output is lit up, and then we press this one, and so now we're latching memory, right? We can do that a lot. Now, the thing with Brickadia is you can't actually loop a block into itself. So if I take this block and I try and like connect it directly to there. Oh, okay, well, I don't know why that worked. Wait, can I loop? Oh, wait, no, now if I try and loop this back. Yeah, see, now it gives me that error because I'm making a loop, right? See, Brickadia does not allow wired circuits to feed into itself without a buffer delay. So it's really simple. We just instead put the buffers in and we loop the buffer back to itself. But the buffer itself, if we take a look at the applicator, it's a tick buffer. There's tick buffers and there's time-based buffers in this game. And if we use a tick buffer, it's waiting 0 ticks. I don't know what this -1, 0 ticks to wait thing means. If the input value is 0, wait this many ticks, only used if... I don't really understand what that means, because it waits like a -1. This is the default value it was set in. Seems to work, needless to say, but it lets us make this SR latch loop, and now, of course, we can make memory. Great stuff. So, why memory is important? Well, of course, if we compare the signal of the input to the output, then we can do some fun stuff, which is what we're doing here. So, now we're comparing it to the values. So we take the number values we're reading. I'm very excited about this. I don't know if you guys can tell. This is like great for me. The fact that I spent a little bit too much time, maybe an hour or two figuring all this out, because I really wanted to make sure all this was possible before I started doing some live builds on videos. I'm going to start doing some live builds because this game is great. Like the building is amazing. It's very easy to do stuff. And yeah, it's like once you know some stuff, it's pretty cool. Anyway, so here we go. So we got your slider here. It's now outputting its position to these two comparators, right? They're comparing against constant values. On the one side, we have a constant value of 0.01. It can't be 0 because it just never actually gets to 0. I think that's just game physics things. Like it's probably only at 0 for a very small, infinitesimally small fraction of a second. So it doesn't work if you do that. And then on the other side, same thing. It's not ever getting to 4 because it goes from 0 to 4 extension. It's a 5-block piston, but it starts at 0 to 4, right? Anyway, so it never gets to 4. It goes to 3.99. Regardless, if we do all that and feed those as our inputs into our on-off SR latch, and then we have the output controlled by an AND gate with a switch, then we can get this to go, right? So it's okay. It gets there, but you can see it's obviously got an issue. One, it needs a flywheel, right? It needs something to keep the momentum up. So it needs a weighted flywheel is number one. And then number two, this is default power settings on this, right? This is the default, whoops, that's not what I want to do. There we go, the slider, right? This is the default settings for the motor slider, 60 ST. I don't know what that speed means, but ST units, and then 10 power, right? With 1 damping. But anyway, it works. So it's a, it's an automated piston engine, and when we turn this off, it'll shut off eventually. It just kind of lulls to a stop. There we go, because it gets unpowered, right? And then when we turn it on again, it should just fire right back up. Sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it does. And then, of course, the next thing we had to think about was, all right, so we've got this. Now, how are we going to attach multiple pistons? Now, of course, with the way a normal crankshaft works, it's sort of like a zigzaggy line, basically, of steel, and then you have all your pistons, clamping around it, right? The rods clamp around that crankshaft, and the crankshaft can spin, and the rod can go up and down and spin around it. So we need basically like a clip-through bearing. Yeah, it turns out Brickadia has already thought of all that stuff. You can literally just take any block in Brickadia with the applicator and just make it collisions or no collisions, and you can make it visible or invisible, like literally. So it's that simple. So I took this block in the middle here and I made it invisible with no collisions. So if we take away all our tools, it looks like an L-shaped crankshaft, but in reality, this extra beam here is just for visual. There's only a bearing on this little joint at the one, like on this one side. There's no bearing on this side because you don't need to double attach it. And see, look, now we can pivot this, through the shaft, right? And we can continue the shaft. So it's really exciting stuff. Anyway, I'm really excited about it. So yeah, so that was the other piece I had to figure out. This video is hilarious to me because it's a really short video, but it took me really way too long to prep for it, and I'm okay with that. It was really exciting. Anyway, so then I made a two-piston cylinder thing, two-piston engine, right? So this is my attempt at a flywheel. It's not really good, but same idea, right? If we take this and we spin it, you can see we've got two pistons, right? They're alternating, 180 degrees offset from each other. I've changed the power settings a little bit on these. I don't know if these are good settings or not. We've got 100 speed, 25 power. I was kind of messing around with it, trying to get it to go smoother. I also thought there was a weight block, and there isn't. So I don't really know what the deal is with that. I thought I was going to be able to put a big old weight on this. I might honestly extend this out to 4, and we'll just see what happens if we make it 4. But anyway, if we turn this on, yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So anyway, this is where we're at. Now, the cool thing about these piston engines is that each cylinder is completely independent. So they're both reading off the same constants. In this case, because I had 2 of them, I had to actually adjust the values. So they're going to 0.05 on the timing instead of, 0.001. And it's because I found the one piston was hanging on too long, like the one motor was fighting the other one. And I think that's because we actually have one motor constantly being pushed now. So yeah, this is really good. Yeah, it's a little bit of logic because we're latching some stuff. I should probably clean up these wires that just, the big ones that just kind of float across to connect up to the things. We could put I did some nodes here, but it's pretty cool. So anyway, I guess we just should build 2 more pistons onto this and see what happens if we make it a 4. The other thing that I don't understand about this game, which I've been really struggling with, is I can save the world, no problem, which I'm gonna do right now. There we go, save the world. But if I try and save this creation, for example, I'm supposed to be able to select this, right? And then just kind of do this and just select everything. Watch, this is gonna work now because I'm actually trying to do it, but, oh, whoops, I made a mistake. But anyway, yeah, hold on. I gotta just select a big box around everything. Made a mistake. Just gotta, there we go, grab that. Go nice and tall there. Right, there we go, perfect. And then I think I'm supposed to be able to go prefabs, save prefab, save all selected bricks, and this is just gonna be test engine. And then if I save it, of course it works now. This did not work for me. I tried this, okay, well now it works. So now I have anyway. Well, okay, well, so I can load that now, load prefab. So can I paste it? There we go. Okay, so I paste build, and then I can make it float. Okay, so it loads all the basic stuff, but it doesn't load the children. These are obviously children to the parent entity. So it saved all the stuff that was selected against the parent entity, which is all my logic, but it didn't load my actual pistons or cranks. That's interesting. I don't know if that's I honestly, this is literally the first time the prefab thing has worked for me. Every time I tried to select it before, it said I wasn't selecting anything, even though I thought it was. Anyway, if you guys know in the comments down below how to do that, obviously it would be nice to save the whole piston engine with all the stuff. In the meantime, we're just gonna take this one and expand it out and make it 4 because that just seems like a great idea. I wanna see if I can make it more stable. The good news is it's really easy to do. So all I have to do, I could do this by copying and pasting. which is one way. But I'm just gonna build it manually because, you know, I'm kind of old school like that. All right, so I think that's all the blocks I need. So first thing we do is we just place one of these, and then we can resize it out like so. And then we got to put a block across just to support our slider. Yeah, I'm a big fan of building in this game. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't figured out yet what I'm going to. Oh, why is that? That's interesting. That's the wrong way. I haven't figured out yet what I'm gonna do. There we go. Perfect. It's gotta be powered down. But yeah, I haven't figured out what I'm gonna do yet with the you know, with the piston engine. I haven't really figured out how to actually attach it to like a wheel or anything yet, or like a transmission. We need to figure out gears and stuff. I don't know what's gonna be possible. Blocks can have collision with other blocks though. So, but you can't attach. So you can't attach a wheel directly to a block. So I don't, that's another part I haven't figured out yet. But like right now, I'm just trying to get the smoothest working piston engine. Anyway, so we got that. Then the next thing we got to do is actually build the crank. So I think that needs to come out one more block. And we're going to go down this way. We're literally going to make a plus sign. And it honestly doesn't even matter the orientation of the pistons, because each piston just fires completely independently on its own like coordinates, whereas in Scrap Mechanic we had to make timing wheels and like hook them up and stuff, and in this we don't. Each piston is just its own independent entity, so it's kind of hilarious. Anyway, we can just do that, place that there. That's lined up perfect. So then we go bearing, bearing, we grab this, we stretch it, should be 7 blocks. It is. It's not going to place. We grab the manipulator and just go yoink, and now we have that connected, and now we have a 3. That's so incredibly easy, it's not even funny. And then we take this, move it out of the way for a sec, lock it in place. Like, come on. Come on. The convenience of all these little tools, man. It's just, I can't even, you know, it's just, then we do one of those, we do one of this, grab the applicator, go like this. You're just gonna be invisible. Yeah, it's so nice. It's so nice. And then we just take this and go out this way, and that's where our other piston's gonna be. And we're gonna just rotate this vertically like that. It's kind of a weird configuration, because it's like these two in line. I feel like it should be like 90 offsets instead, but it doesn't really matter. So it's gonna fire like this way and then out here, and then anyway, it'll all work out. It's fine. Again, we do the same thing here, just like that. Yeah. I also love the fact that this game, you know, doesn't have weird hitboxes between the blocks. Certain games I play have hitboxes that this would never work. You would have to leave a gap, and yeah, you don't have to do that in this. There's just all the quality of life things I would expect, and it just makes me very, very happy. And I'm just gonna do that and do that. And like, it's just so easy. There, connect that to there. Wonderful. So now the whole thing, yeah, beautiful. Then we do another little fake block here. I'm literally doing these fake blocks just to make my brain happy. Like, you don't need that extra, you know, crankshaft piece. But now, look, if I take away the tools, right, it looks like it's a 90, you know what I mean? Like, it actually is one, this would never exist, but, you know, it's one continuous piece. Anyway, and then we can take this and do that, and then just, you know, resize this out. And again, I'd love to know how to make a weight, because I don't really understand how to make a weight. All right, so that's that. Now we just have to duplicate all this logic, which is actually a lot easier to do than you'd think. Making these latches is not really all that hard, so I'm just gonna space this out like that. And this is just because I want to keep it, you know, organized. So there we go. We space those out. We put those are all just NOR gates, and then we put a tick buffer after each one. And all this is just cross-connected, so we can just take the connector and just connect those directly to the outputs. Whoops, just like that. Did that work? Yeah, and then we cross-connect them across. So this one goes to that one goes to this one, and same over here. All right, and then we have greater than, less than, so we'll put down all those. I'm just literally gonna copy the orientation I did up top. Doesn't really matter, like I could flip it, and then just all it means is on the output, you just gotta flip which one feeds the AND gate, you know? It's not, again, it's not a huge deal, but there we go. So those are the greater thans, and then we do the less thans. We could also have each cylinder on its own set of constants rather than having them all feed off the same constants, but I don't know why you would ever want independent cylinder timing. Right, that one goes there, that one goes there. So we're gonna grab with the connection tool, this one, current position, you're gonna go to here. And then this one, current position, is gonna go to there. beauty. I would love, if I was doing this like as a proper build, we should have nodes all along this top bar. All these feed out to the nodes, feed out. You could actually make it look really cool. Like you could make the wiring actually look like it's intentional and part of the engine design, I think. That would be sick. At some point in time, I'm gonna do it with all the nodes. For now, I'm just doing it the way I would do scrap mechanic builds, which is hilarious. I'm also like horribly, so you'll see I'm constantly gonna mash these numbers. I have 4,000 hours in a game where I had certain tools on my hotbar, and I have the numbers on my mouse to press those tools, and I always had my connection tool here. Well, actually, I always had my connection tool way at the end here. But I always had my like welder and stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna keep pressing buttons for tools that don't exist. It's fine, don't worry about it, we're good. This is gonna go into that, and this is gonna go into that. And then this is gonna do the same thing. Oh man, this is, yeah, I can't wait. I hope this might work. This might spin a lot smoother. So this is the bottom constant. There we go. And this is the top constant. And we're just basically comparing again those positions, and I believe this one turns them off and this one turns them on. Beautiful, beautiful. And then we just take these and feed them to AND gates on the outputs. And those AND gates are just essentially to connect to our on-off switch, because otherwise the engine would constantly be running. And so, like, you can see this one wants to fire right now because it's in the position to fire, but it's not being allowed to fire because the switch is off. Just a really simple way to not have the engine running constantly. Whoops, so it's this one, goes to there. And, I mean, it can go to either side, doesn't really matter, but there we go. And then we grab this node and feed it to there. Yeah, you could make all this look really intentional and cool. And it would be sick. All right, there we go. That's going to there, and that's going to there. See how easy that is? And we're done, I think. Fire it up. Oh, wait, hold on. I made mistakes. One, it's all frozen solid, which is the issue. And two, we need to set the power and the speeds. So 125. I have the manipulator holding it frozen, right? So if the manipulator holds the physics frozen on the thing, it won't work. So, and then here we go again, 100. Now, I know real-life piston engines, like a real-life 4-cylinder 4-stroke, wouldn't be a quarter 90-degree offset. It would be a 2 up, 2 down, and then they would fire. But because we're not, technically this is more like a 2-stroke, because we're firing on every, we're firing on every stroke. We're not firing on every fourth, right? So it's like up, down, fire, fire, fire. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right, unfreeze this. There we go. It's perfect, and let's go. It makes noises now. I don't know why it makes noises, but it's so cool that it does. It's like a little brick engine. I'm actually such a fan of the fact that that makes noise. I have no idea why. Like something's colliding now, I guess. I wonder if one of my clip-through blocks isn't. It's so smooth with 4 though. Oh, that one. No, that's the beam. Yeah, that one doesn't collide. I don't know why it makes noise, but I'm actually like a huge fan of this. This is the coolest. Anyway, that's like smooth. That's like incredibly smooth. I wonder now if that means, can we turn up the speed of it? Before I had to have the speed down on the 2-cylinder. I wonder if I could just like increase this like crazy. Can I go to 200? Okay, that's a thing. And then we'd probably have to change the power potentially too for the motor. Might have to also adjust the timing. Like we can now, this is crazy. With these constants, we can advance the timing of the motor. Like you could have the cylinders fire, but it's just ridiculous what we can do. We can literally have the cylinders fire early if we wanted to. We could have them fire a little later. Like it's kind of hilarious. I don't know why we'd want this, but it's a thing. All right, here we go. And click. Now see, that gets a little more, see, now we got to play with the timing. I think you got to turn this off a little bit earlier. Maybe like 0.1. Yeah, see? It just, you can hear it speed up. All right, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. And yeah, no, so like, it's Christmas now. This is what we're doing. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I love this game. I need to put this on something and tune it a little bit, but it can definitely be tuned. It could also be different. Like I'm making this with a 5 diameter crankshaft. We could make it with 3 diameter crankshaft and have the pistons move less distance. We could also do the opposite, make it longer and bigger, There's many things we could do. But yeah, that's just great. Yeah, I don't know what to say anymore. Is it strong? I guess this is the next. Okay, hold on. Let me. I guess yeah, it's kind of hard to do that while it's spinning. Like, what if I take this and like just stretch that out? I don't know if it's probably gonna hit the ground a little bit. I don't know if this is heavy or not. I can't really tell how to adjust weights of things. I imagine every block has weight, but I don't know, you know. Oh, yeah, no, that definitely hits the ground. Okay, hold on. Let's just bring that up. There we go. There it goes. Yeah, it can do it. Just got to get that first crank in. Wow. Yeah, no, that's just a game. That's, you know, that's what we're here for. I'm gonna save this world real quick before I lose anything. Yeah, no, yeah. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I love this game. I'm gonna keep playing this game. I need to figure out something to do with my piston engine now, because this is just, hold on, what if I do this? Can I stop flying? You know what? It's not bad. It's not bad. It's pretty good. Wow. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'd like to point out the single piston is still spinning. No problem. It's been doing it like the whole episode. Oh boy, I don't know what to say. I love this game. I'm gonna keep playing this game. I really hope you guys like this game as much as I do. I mean, it's just so cool. And I know some people were like, I really don't like the visual logic with all the wires and stuff. I love this. I really do, especially with these nodes. Like, I'm gonna have to start actually doing some proper organization, but I love the node system and I love seeing your wires work. It's just so easy to troubleshoot. You can just watch it and be like, oh, it's not firing, it is firing. I mean, it's doing what you want. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you hit those buttons. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And we'll see y'all next time. This is the coolest thing I've ever built. It's so satisfying that this works.